I don't know if anybody want to jump in on that.
I mean, I'm thinking in Haiti, I'm trying to see how the community was in Haiti and why was it a pressure. I'm sure like in every community that you are, you're engaging, there's a type of, there's some type of pressure. I know for me, growing up in Haiti, the pressure was you needed to do good in school.
That's it.
So that was where the emphasis was put. And I remember watching TV and I see white women or whatever. I'm like, they look different. Why am I black and why are they white? But it stayed there. There was no desire for me to be like them. It's just like, that's interesting. I've never seen that before. Like, how did that happen and why is everybody around me that color? But it stayed there. But nothing about it that said they were prettier than me or me. I was uglier because my parents always reinforced who I was. So I think in Haiti I came with the idea that I was good enough. Until I came.
Yes.
Until I came.
And how old were you when you came?
I came when I was 7.
Okay.
Wow.
So it was reinforced that I was, I mean, I was a daddy's little girl. I was his first. I knew I was beautiful and I knew I was smart, so I knew it. But once I came here, my mom became a single mom, so she became very focused with work. So that wasn't what I was hearing anymore, so therefore I was like getting it other ways. And then of course my mom kind of gravitated towards the world too, because now we're living in a new world, and so we want community. And I think for me that's where I fell short, and I had the community in Haiti, and then now I'm coming to another place. Okay, I want community too. So if this is what the community looks like, maybe I need to be like that community in order for me to fit in. So I'm like, okay, let's go with the straight hair. My mom was like, yep, let's go with the straight hair. And I think that's where the shift started to happen, to put myself in a community. And now I'm thinking, is that so wrong? Or where...
I mean, that's a really good question.
Where does the line? Like, how do you put yourself in a community but still not be pressured to change?
Well, you said something very important. It's the community at home, right? I have a daughter. She's 7 years old. She has locks. And one day she came home to me and she said, "Mommy, I don't want my locks anymore." I said, "Why?" She said, "I want to look like every other girl in my class." You know, I said, "What do they look like?" She said, "Well, they have the long straight hair." I said, "Why can't I look like that? That's, you know, they're beautiful and I'm not." I said, and then I had to sit her down and explain to her, "You're beautiful just the way." I have locks. At the time I had locks at the time. Do you think I'm ugly? He's like, "No, you're not ugly. You're beautiful." I said, "Then when you look at yourself, when you look at me, I need you to see you. If you think I'm beautiful, then you're beautiful. It's not about God has made all of us in his own way. Don't let her having straight hair define what beauty is. You know, learn to accept you as you are, with the locks and everything." But I remember she struggled with it, because every day she went to school, you know, surrounded by these little white girls with the long straight hair. So she started thinking, like, especially with TV reinforcing, that's what beauty is. That's what beautiful. So in her head, so when you go on Nickelodeon, the Disney channels, what do you see? And then we do have a little black girl. She has the cute little curls. Nice curls.
And bouncy curls.
She doesn't fall, you know, she's not the cute little black girl with the curls, and she's not the little white girl with the long, it's like, where do I fit in?
I think this is such an interesting question about this. It's really this idea of assimilating, right? And so, but then there's also the desire, the natural desire, I think, which is to fit in and to have common ground, right? And so when you come into a new space and you see that I'm very different, then you begin to assess your differences, and you begin to ask yourself, well, which ones are important? Like, which differences are important? Like, I'm sure there's some things that I'm okay with, but then there are other things that it's just like, I would rather be like this so that I can fit within this community. And I think then the question is, well, when does it become bad, I guess? At what point is it bad to say, well, all these people have this, and as much as, you know, there's nothing wrong with having this, and I would like to have this too, unless that is in some way, unless it takes a piece of my identity away? Because here's another thing. I think what happens, especially with black women, is how much our identity is tied to our hair. So if I have natural hair, does that then define me a little bit more as a black woman? Am I being more black because I have this natural hair? When it's just like, maybe I just wanted straight hair like everyone else, but it's that question of like, well, what is more beautiful, and how am I comparing myself to these people, and how am I valuing myself compared to these people? Because I do think there is something to, and not saying that we haven't been completely brainwashed by the European ideals of beauty. I'm not saying that. That goes without saying. We know that representation online, everywhere else, we do not have that. And so I definitely think that comes from that. But then there's this other question of, like, what is wrong with wanting to assimilate to be more like the people who are around you, but in a way where I'm not compromising who I am, but it's just like, I want to have that common ground with these people. I want to be able to have these kind of conversations with them about that type of thing. So I don't know. I think that's really interesting. So for you, when you first came and you said that everyone wasn't wearing the barrettes, and so you wanted to change, where did that come from for you? Do you think it just came from just being around in the community, or do you feel like it was more pressure from online, not online at that time, but probably just, watching television and things like that? And was the pressure inside the school, or do you feel like it was other places as well?
It was mostly in the school because, again, I'm Haitian, so I was mostly in the Haitian community. So when I was in the Haitian community, I was safe because all the little girls dressed the same way I did. Their hair was the same way. They wore their hair the same way I did. But as soon as I went to school, it was different. Especially it was a Boston public school. Different breed. Oh Lord. The bullying. People talk about bullying now. The bullying that I got just from having nicer hair than like, oh, you can't be Haitian because all Haitians have really nappy, coarse hair. Wow. And I was always defending where I was from, who I was, because they didn't define Haitian person as having nice hair. Right. So to be honest with you, and that kind of stuck with me. So I wore my hair as a crown because I listened to those voices. I said, well, you're beautiful because of your hair. So when it was time for me to lose my hair, it was really hard for me to let that go because for years, I wore my hair as my crown. It covered my flaws, and because again, just like you, I suffered from really bad acne. So when it wouldn't go away on any day, I could just put my long hair down and it would cover me and I would feel safe and I would feel pretty again. So when I didn't have that anymore, it was just like, what do I do now?
And I think you just mentioned something that's important. I think for me, now what I'm redefining is that if we're defining beauty because of anything physical, once we lose that physical aspect, we will cease to be beautiful. And I think that's what we need to find and understanding. Because like, if I'm saying I'm beautiful because of my hair, then once the hair is gone, you cease to be beautiful. If I'm defining my beauty because of how I look physically, once that is gone, I'm ceased to be beautiful. So now going back to your point, I don't think there's anything wrong to try to assimilate and try to put yourself in a community. I don't think so. I think you are to get into a community because like you go to school, you want to have friends and you want to be alike and things like that, which is fine. But it cannot define who you are. And the moment you try to change something and make that define you, that's when we compromise ourselves.
I think
we need to, because we wear lipstick because somebody thought it was a lipstick. Because I want to try the lipstick you have on. But if I don't like it and then it doesn't look good on me, it will not define me. I think that's where I think we need to make it clear for people. Like, yes, I want to have friends. Yes, I want to be in a community. Oh, you have short hair? Sure. I can try the short hair too. But my short hair, my long hair is not define me. So you have short hair and you say this is you and you love it. And so coming to a point of saying, yep, I can try having a long hair. But having the long hair, having the short hair shouldn't define me.
Right.
Okay.
How long was